God, save souls, slay error, go stronger.
Terry, let me just mention what Taylor Marshall said, and we'll go back to Father.
Because that's another one.
Taylor Marshall said this weekend, he goes that the Amazonian Synod, he goes, it's an attack on the supernatural faith, miracles, divine revelation, and upon the origin of our creation. God's identity of male and female, the institution of human matrimony, and the natural law precepts to the fruitful and multiply within marriage. Moreover, it is the resurrection of paganism that you might become gods. Terry?
Well said. That's exactly. And Taylor Marshall nailed it. And if I would encourage people to read his book on infiltration, if you haven't read it. Isn't that a fair book to read?
Yeah, and it helps you understand that this plan, this is the tip of the iceberg. The Amazon Synod is the tip of the iceberg that began in the 1860s with the Freemasons trying to take this over. So it kind of makes you understand how long they had patience to really get this in there. This isn't just a fluke. The Amazon Synod is not just a fluke where there's some confusing theologians and everything is going to get straightened out. This has been in the making for 150 years.
Wow. And I want to encourage our listeners to get the book, The Day Is Now Far Spent. That's Cardinal Sarah's book. And on the 26th of October, I'm going to have Father Joe Fessio, the publisher of Ignatius Press, talk about the book because it gave me great inspiration to reading that book to help me deal with the crisis in the church. So I don't want you to leave this show ever without being uplifted and knowing that we as lay people make a difference. I remember what Our Lady said at Fatima. She said souls are going to hell because there's no one there to pray and make sacrifices for. So, I mean, this is what we just finished, a 9-day novena at our chapel, 1 hour before the Blessed Sacrament for 9 straight days, praying for our leaders in our church that they'll be faithful to the Master, Jesus Christ.
Terry, Father's going to have specific expertise on this question because he's a celebrate priest.
That's right.
So I want to ask him. Jean Smith, she's one of the presenters this week, and she said this, and I want Father's take on this because this has to do with priestly
celibacy. In Rome? She's in Rome?
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She said, among the most obviously threatening innovations that are being introduced by the upcoming Amazon Synod is the promotion of some form of ordained ministry for women. She warned that the Indian theology, which the Synod will promote, demands the ordination of women as ministers. She says, it is within the logic of traditional indigenous spirituality that is paganism, or if you want to take it a bit further, idolatry. So, Father, what's the problem with the West or modern men wanting ministerial priestesses?
Yes,
and wanting also married men to be ordained into the Latin rite.
Yeah, Dr. Brandt Petrie has a really interesting insight that a lot of times that people used to say that there were only Jewish priests in the Old Testament because the Jews were misogynistic and they didn't actually value these people very high. But if you look at the surrounding pagan tribes that all had female priestesses, these were also the cultures that would kill girls just for being girls, have sex cults, places that never, ever treated women as well as the Jews did, right? So it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the transcendent and the immanent. I'll get through all this theology really quick. That man is transcendent, woman is immanent. If you look at the teaching of St. Paul, the difference between man and woman isn't strength and weakness, all right? The main difference between man and woman is transcendence and immanence. Transcendence means that which is beyond, that God is beyond us. Mm-hmm. Immanence means right here, right now, with us. And so if you think about it, like if one of you guys, if your kid got hurt in the street, okay, maybe your 5-year-old gets hurt in the street, your wife is going to be super comforting and say, hey, and you might say, hey, I mean, playing in the street, this could be just like a bellwether of bigger injuries if you keep playing in traffic. Like a man is supposed to have a transcendent view of things, right? Both are necessary in family life. It doesn't mean man's smarter and woman's more compassionate.
Different roles.
Just different roles, right? Well, when we look at the introduction of female priestesses, this is, again, essentially to collapse the order of grace into the order of nature, to say there is nothing transcendent. And that's why Dr. Marshall essentially said there that this is the collapsing of the supernatural, so that there's nothing natural left anymore. But probably more nefarious and all that, and you mentioned these quotes, Psalm 94, Psalm 95 says, the gods of the nations are demons. Even before we get to any sacrificing to them, just to honor the gods of these others is demons. So It's essentially the introduction of demonology into this. I'm not saying women are demons, but when we introduce something that doesn't have female clergy into this, it's essentially introducing something satanic. And one of the things that we have to remember in making women ordained or whatever else is that when demonology is introduced, this will be introduced into the hearts of many people and essentially turn Catholics to be satanic if we accept this. So this could schism the church.
Yeah. Well, no, of course. Jesse, your thoughts?
Yeah. Psalm 96, verse 5. For all the gods of the peoples are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. The Douay Rheims says, for the gods of all the peoples are demons.
Yes.
So, and that's in Psalm 95 in the Douay Rheims. I see what's happening here is, Terry's always mentioning this, that the world is influencing the church more than the church is influencing the world. And that's the danger here. And so what we need right now, we need heroes and saints in the Catholic Church. We need priests like you, Father, priests that are willing to put it on the line.
We have to
Go out there to an abortion clinic.
We have to.
Tell the women, hey, I'm a priest. I'm here to hear your confession. And if it means getting arrested, so be it. That's the type of heroism we need right now in the Catholic Church.
And let me give you one example. I'm going to embarrass Father, but it's okay. I went to breakfast with him this morning. He gives out miraculous medals. St. Maximilian Kolbe called them silver bullets, right? But what Father taught me, and I hope he can teach you this, don't give out medals like we do, just a medal. Put it on a chain.
I've learned that, yeah.
Yes. And what happened today at breakfast when the man that was serving us? Because, it's powerful. We don't know his name, but just what happened?
Yeah, I said that at the 2 hours ago, but I'll say it again, that he came up and he had a tattoo of kind of like an anchor. An anchor. And I said, you know what the early Christians saw the anchor as? And he said, no, what? I said, hope. And he hesitated for a second. Then he told us how he had struggled with if he should even be alive. And his best friend had asked him to get this tattoo with him to be anchored, to know that he's not going to essentially commit suicide. And then I explained, this is the Christian hope. This is the symbol of Christian hope. And I said, if I gave you a miraculous medal, I said, here's a miraculous medal. Jesus promised so many graces through Mary's hands for anybody who wears it. If I gave this to you and I had it with the chain.
He asked the question, would you wear it?
Would you wear it? And he got teary-eyed and he's like, yeah, I would wear it. And he put it on and he was so
powerful.
Thankful. So thankful.
Absolutely. And Jesse, every time we have a show, we're now talking about 5 stones for solutions. All these problems. What can we as lay Catholics do? Can we talk about the 5 stones?
Absolutely. Dr. Luis Sandoval just texted me right now. He's a friend of the show and he's listening to us. He says this, and it's a challenge to the bishops. He says, imagine if I, as a physician, withheld the approved treatment to cure my patient's cancer. Sure, there might be some side effects, but ultimately there is a cure. Why would our bishops withhold the truth of Christ, which is the cure for our souls? So that's a challenge from Dr. Luis Sandoval.
And he will be at our Spiritual Warfare Conference, Dr. Sandoval, on the 11th of January, along with Jesse Romero. If you haven't registered, go to virginmostpowerfulradio.org or call us at 877-526-2151. Jesse, give us the 5 stones that we can do as lay Catholics. What do we need to do to help Holy Mother, the Church?
Well, from that famous story, David and Goliath in the book of Samuel, I think it's chapter 16.
Yeah.
We see David, he took down an incredible undefeated warrior by the name of Goliath with 5 stones. So as Catholics, I think we need 5 stones today. My take, if we're going to live in the state of grace, you need to be armored up. You need to have the 5 stones of David.
Amen.
And so what are they? Here's what I would say.
Yep.
Number 1, pray the rosary every day from your heart.
Or don't listen.
Excuses. Don't make any excuses. I'm tired. I can't find... Man up. Knock it off.
Yep.
Quit acting like an effeminate man. Start praying the rosary, period. Make no excuse. Did you eat today? Did you use the toilet? Well, pray the rosary today. Find 15 minutes. Number 2, go to Mass as often as possible. Sunday without fail. Holy days of obligation without fail. If you can get to daily Mass, better. And if you can't, stop by and visit Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. Get on your knees and beg him to restore the church to holiness. The 3rd stone, read the Holy Bible every day. Most of you have an iPhone. You can get the daily Mass readings in the Novus Ordo Mass and probably even the Old Rite.
Yep.
In your iPhone. Read the daily Mass readings every single day. It takes 5 to 7 minutes. Number 4, let's go back to penances, okay? Even in 1983, the Code of Canon Law says we should be doing penance every Friday.
That's right.
Penance every single Friday. Everybody out there for Holy Mother Church. Go abstinence, fasting. So what if it's not Lent? Start offering penances throughout the week. Do the rosary on your knees. Okay, take a cold shower. And number 5, the 5th stone, I would say, I'll quote 3 giants. St. John Paul II, St. Padre Pio, Venerable Fulton Sheen says, lay Catholics, minimum. Here's minimum.
Virgin Most Powerful Radio, sharing the gospel with clarity and charity.